Make sure to check out my Patreon for exclusive videos never before seen on YouTube. And don't forget to also check out the memberships on my channel page to join and gain access to perks and see videos early. Make sure to click the subscribe button and hit the bell and be notified of new videos. All the support goes to the production of the channel for better content. Now let's get into the video. Real quick shout out to all the members that are there on the screen. Go check them out. Go give them a like, subscribe, show them some love and support. Also, if this video gets over 250 likes, I shall continue the series. Thank you all for the support. Let's hit 20,000 subscribers, and I will talk to you all later. In this what-if scenario, Goku will be given half Saiyan and then half Kryptonian. How would this change Dragon Ball itself? Let's get into this video. Thank y'all for the support. The Saiyan Bardock has just crash landed on a new planet known as planet Krypton. This planet was rich in resources and had an incredible empire. Now, of course, these beings are quite powerful, more powerful than a base species, but they cannot defeat the likes of Bardock, who can destroy a planet. Now, during this time, though, I feel like Bardock would fall in love with a woman, and this is when they would have a child together. Now, Bardock here is a Saiyan himself. So Bardock's main goal was to just show up, do what he has to do, and then leave, which is usually to mark the planet down for Frieza's men to then take it over years later. Now Bardock would return back to planet Vegeta, as all the same events would happen for him. It's just that once when Krypton was going to be destroyed by a black hole, what we do know is that Goku, named as Kakarot, as that's what Bardock would have named them, as they would have given him a Saiyan name, was sent off to planet Earth. Now, this would not really mess with the Dragon Ball timeline that much, just the fact that Bardock never really saw his son. But maybe he would know about it, but not necessarily. He might know that maybe that Krypton was destroyed, but a space pod was sent out. So maybe he knows that's his son, but he'll worry about that later, as Frieza was destroying everybody. Bardock would still die, giving his last stand, as he would see visions of his son from that Krypton planet fighting the likes of Frieza. And then he knows that this will change everything. Now, Goku would still land on Earth, and he would still meet Grandpa Gohan. Goku would still be a loving, caring boy. Now, would Goku still bump his head? Now, you could argue that he did, because he's an infant, as he was only a few weeks old when he crashed. So it's very possible that when he fell, he still hit his head, as he's still absorbing the sun rays. As people who don't know how Kryptonian works, is that they get their power from stars. As different stars give them different power-ups, the Kryptonians on their normal planet, they had a very weak star. So they were not the powerhouses like Superman. But Superman was given on Earth, which has the yellow sun. And the yellow sun is very rich in power, which gives Superman his abilities. And that's why he's much more powerful than a normal Kryptonian was in the first place, because he can absorb much more sun energy. Now, as for Goku, from a very young age, when he was training with Grandpa Gohan, Goku was naturally extremely powerful as a boy, far more than the original Goku. But he learned martial arts and he learned how to control his incredible strength. This version of Goku also learned how to fly. As remember, this version of Goku is about 10 to 12 years old, so he learned how to fly and learned how to use X-ray vision. He can use freeze breath, and of course, heat vision, as that's the coolest move ever. Grandpa Gohan would take note of this, that this boy is definitely not normal. He has incredible power. As how powerful is this version of Goku? Now, as we know that the likes of like Superman doesn't have limitations, as the likes of Goku does. Goku breaks his limits. Superman in comics is written very weird, but he's written as a character that doesn't truly have a limit. A Kryptonian doesn't necessarily have a power limit. They can get as powerful as they need to. But Goku doesn't know that the power comes from the sun. He doesn't know that. So in terms of power, I'm definitely going to put him up in the 200s to 300s, as with a little training, he's already that powerful. He would still turn into a great ape, as even being half Saiyan, you can still do that. He would sadly kill Grandpa Gohan, but he would revert back to normal and continue living his life, protecting the 4-star Dragon Ball. He would still meet up with Bulma, and a lot of the adventures would pretty much happen the exact same. It's just that Goku here is far more powerful than the original, and as he trains and gets stronger with his Saiyan DNA, his power will continue to grow higher, higher, and then higher. So this would change a few events. He wouldn't get beaten up as badly. The fact that he does have more abilities than normal, and the fact that he can fly, which not a lot of characters in early Dragon Ball could fly. Now we are going to cut years later, as pretty much the Red Ribbon Army would theoretically happen the same. It is true that Goku probably handled them a lot better. You could argue that maybe he destroys them even more. This could maybe kill Dr. Gero, but I highly doubt that. But yeah, everything would pretty much go the exact same. All the way up until the Demon King Piccolo saga, or if you want to go back more, you could go to when he fought Master Roshi. Now, when he does meet Roshi, Roshi will still train him, but Roshi knows that Son Goku is very, very different from a normal boy. Not to mention he has a tail, but the fact that he can fly, has heat vision, Master Roshi thinks that maybe it's ki that he's shooting out of his eyes, but he doesn't sense that. It's just pure energy that's shooting out of his body. Well, once Master Roshi fights Goku in a tournament, as we know, Goku would actually defeat him this time, as Goku's power level has to be up in the 500s. As, of course, with the training and the fact that he's growing more powerful as he's getting older, it's not too far-fetched, because even Superman in Goku's age was literally able to throw cars, and he was insanely powerful. And even when Superman was a young adult, pretty much he could destroy a planet if he really wanted to, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. And as Superman changed, he got more powerful. Son Goku was the same way. So growing up, Son Goku would still be the same happy, lovable guy. Not much really change. Only difference here is that Goku does have more speed than normal as well, because he's a Kryptonian. He does have the heat vision, everything else. So he actually would save Krillin and kill Tambourine. But now because of this though, and the other events, Demon King Piccolo would never wish himself to be younger. But when Goku fights him, it doesn't matter anyway. He would have still killed Demon King Piccolo. This also means that either if Goku maybe uses his laser beam and hits him, you could argue that he could still spit out Piccolo Jr. For what purposes? I'm going to say that he can. So Piccolo Jr. is still born just because I love Piccolo so much. Now, other than that, after Demon King Piccolo is defeated, Goku would actually go train with Kami and, of course, Korin and Popo. Now, because of this, Kami would actually know a little bit more about Goku's heritage, and he would even tell him where his spaceship is. Now, Goku would go down and he'd find the space pod that he was found in, as he wants to learn more about his past. Now, because of this, he would actually see a hologram of his mother. And his mother would tell Goku of his powers, the fact that he gets it from the sun, and other abilities, and that his planet Krypton was completely destroyed. So Goku says that, well, I guess I'm exactly, he can't even say the word. A Kryptonian? He'll just be stuttering because he doesn't really know the word. But then he'll figure out how to say Kryptonian? Something like that? 4 years would pass the exact same. During the Piccolo Jr. arc, Goku here is a young man now. As Goku has a deeper understanding of his heritage, how powerful would Goku be? Now, as we do know, Goku does not need the Flying Nimbus, because remember, he can fly on his own. So he would still have kind of the balance of his Saiyan instincts for battling. And then he also has a Kryptonian sense of responsibility as well within him. But Goku would still meet Bulma, Krillin, and Master Roshi and the others. But now, of course, under the guidance of course, Kami and Mr. Popo, this would of course change a lot of things. Now, when Goku meets up with his friends, how powerful is this version of Goku? Now, because Goku does know Ki, Goku could conceal his power, but he can't really bump or raise his power level because he's always this powerful, and he can't help it. He's as powerful as he needs to be. Now, because of this, when Goku fights Piccolo Jr., it would be a pretty cool fight. Goku would, of course, use martial arts, as a Saiyan blood cannot, of course, he can't handle it. He has to have a fun fight. Goku here is far stronger than Piccolo Jr. Piccolo Jr. would definitely be more powerful than the original, but it wouldn't do much against Goku since he has way too many abilities, and he's way too fast for Piccolo, and way too powerful. Goku here definitely has a power level in the thousands. He would defeat Piccolo, not kill him, because he knows that if Piccolo Jr. dies, Kami dies as well, which would then get rid of the Dragon Balls. So he would actually stop Kami from killing Piccolo as well. Now, because of this, 5 years would still pass. I feel like Goku would still meet Chi-Chi and they would still get married the same exact way, as Goku had the same exact adventures, so he would have met Chi-Chi when they were younger anyway. Now, because of this, 5 years would pass, Gohan was still born. Now, because of this, Goku would go meet his friends as he would actually fly, holding Gohan this time instead of using the flying Nimbus. He would meet all of his friends and Master Roshi and everybody else, and he was really happy. Not far off in the distance, Raditz would still land on this planet, as Raditz knows that he has a bastard brother that I guess his father was fooling around, but the more hybrid Saiyans that they might have, the better, as he came from this planet called Krypton. Now, Vegeta and Nappa know about this because Raditz would have talked to him beforehand, but they have little care about it. They say to go handle it, as the Saiyan must be weak, he's on Earth. Raditz was surprised that Earth was not completely destroyed, but then he also remembers that this is Krypton that sent him, so they're not really planet destroyers. He would meet up with Goku, and they would have the same interaction as before. The only difference here is that when Raditz tries to take Goku's son, and of course you guys remember, Raditz got an elbow right to Goku's stomach, the difference will definitely happen, as Goku would have caught his elbow and threw Raditz across the sea, right hitting the islands. Raditz would have gotten up surprised that his power level spiked that high, suddenly, as maybe he could learn to conceal his power. Goku would appear and the two would begin their battle. Goku was far too powerful for Raditz. As getting into power levels, Goku was in the 5,000s. So he was definitely around 5,000 or so in terms of power, which is not too far-fetched considering the fact of him getting bigger and stronger as he ages. So it's actually lowballing him quite well. Raditz has no chance against this version of Goku, so Goku gives Raditz the option to run off, leave and never come back. Raditz is not an idiot, and then he learns to leave. As Raditz's ship was never destroyed by Gohan, Raditz would fly off and leave the planet, as he would kind of run between the tail between his legs to go meet up with Vegeta and Nappa. But sadly, because of this, once it meets Vegeta and Nappa, Vegeta would actually kill him, saying that how much of a weak worm he is. But it would pique his interest. A power level of 5,000? Oh, that might be something to look into, even if it's real or not. So, Vegeta and Nappa would then take their trip, going right over to planet Earth. Now, because of this, Goku never died, so Goku would theoretically never have gone to see King Kai. Now, because of this, you could go two ways. Kami can tell Goku about a better teacher as he knows about King Kai, or Goku never goes to see King Kai yet, so he would never get the King Kai training. I'm gonna go with the second option, that he would never meet King Kai, as why would Kami tell him, as Kami didn't really feel like he wanted to. If you get what I'm saying, Goku's powerful enough. But Kami would still tell them that he can sense two powerful Saiyans will be on their way. And also what Goku gathered from Raditz saying that, oh, I'll come back with two more powerful Saiyans they ever imagined, blah, 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 and he flies off, they would still do their training for a year. Now, you could argue that maybe Goku uses the hyperbolic time chamber, but Goku never put any thought into it ever, other than the Cell Saga, so I'm going to say that they probably don't use it as they don't have enough supplies yet. But Goku would train with his son Gohan, and let Gohan also train with Piccolo too, to toughen him up. Goku would spar with his friends and get a lot more powerful, learning more martial arts and getting more stronger. Now, because of this, once when Vegeta and Nappa appear, Goku's not late, so his friends don't die, as Goku would help them fight off the Cybermen, as that would be much easier for Goku to handle. Now, as Goku is growing older, he is growing stronger, as you guys know. As he's still absorbing sun power and his power is continuously growing, Goku here easily has a power level of nearing the 20,000s. It's not far-fetched, the fact with his training potential, with his natural talent of learning, and the fact that he's growing into his full fighting body, as now Goku around this age is around 23 to 24. So he is a fully grown man and he's reaching his adulthood in terms of Kryptonian aging. So now he's going to be at his Kryptonian full power, which is not far-fetched. He would begin his fight with Nappa, and he would have easily defeated him. This also means that Piccolo never dies, so Kami never dies. Now this does also mean that of course Tien never dies, Chaozu never dies, and Yamcha never dies because of the Cybermen. Now this would have piqued Vegeta's interest immensely, as Vegeta wants to challenge Son Goku, or Kakarot, and see who really is the most powerful Saiyan. Goku would then agree and they would fly off somewhere safer where there's no animals around, and the two would begin their battle. Vegeta was really powerful, and Goku admits that, but Goku still had the edge as he had more abilities. Vegeta would then charge up a Gallic gun, and this would actually do a lot of damage to Goku, as it would actually really hurt him. As this would then blast Son Goku all the way into outer space, Goku thought that he died, but then he realized, hey, he can breathe in space. He never knew that he could do that, as he never tried to go out into space. He thought his head would explode or he would die. But yeah, he's floating full on in space and he's having fun. But because of this, Goku would then look at the sun and he would start to absorb more of his power being out of the Earth's atmosphere. He now gets the full pump of the sun rays. This would amp his powers even higher, tripling or quadrupling his power far more, as now he's in the power levels of near 100,000 for a quick burst as he soaked up sun rays pure right out in Earth space. As we know, this only lasts for so long, as back in Earth's atmosphere his power would then dip back down. He would fly right down on Vegeta and easily defeat him, but Goku would spare Vegeta. As we know before, Vegeta doesn't have much options as he's too badly injured to turn into a great ape. He doesn't have enough power to make a fake moon, and Goku would spare him. Vegeta would then crawl back to his space pod, as Goku would tell him to never return to Earth and to stay away from this planet. Vegeta would then laugh and said, "You made a mistake sparing my life, Kakarot." As then, Vegeta would then leave, heading back over to Frieza's ship. And then, because of this, the fact that, of course, Vegeta scouter about the fact that Vegeta read such a high power level, and Vegeta was telling everybody about how this hybrid of a Saiyan from a planet called Krypton was able to defeat him, that word would slowly get to Lord Frieza. This would perk his interest a little bit, as Frieza would take note of it. The only thing that he would have asked Vegeta was, "What else do you know?" And Vegeta states, "Wait, there was an Namekian there." And Frieza was like, "Okay, what about it?" And he's like, "Well, they spoke about if any of their friends died, they can use these wishing orbs, the Dragon Balls, to wish back." Frieza's like, "A wish, huh?" So that means that they can grant a wish with these magical orbs. Good. Send the coordinates on my ship to Earth right away, as this would take about a year for Frieza to arrive. And then, the main fun will soon begin. After Goku defeating Vegeta, Frieza was now on his way to go collect the Dragon Balls so he can wish for immortality. Now because of this, the Z Fighters would have had more time to train, and because of that, they would have had over a year, with Goku training with Piccolo and his son, getting them ready to support and the help of fighting Frieza. Now because of this, the year would pass and Frieza would still appear as he was ready to fight. Now Frieza has brought a lot of his men, of course Doria, Zarbon, and even Vegeta follow close, but Vegeta's kind of being smart. He's staying in the background, as if he might have a bone to pick with Kui, but he would still beat him the exact same. Goku of course would instantly go find Frieza, but he would have to go through his men first, as he would then go through of course Zarbon and Doria, easily defeating them, as there's not much that they can really do. Now of course, Frieza was next. Now because of this, Frieza would then fight Goku in his first form. But because of this, sadly, first form Frieza has no chance against this version of Goku. So Frieza would then skip his forms and go to his true form, his fourth form, aka his final form. Goku would actually be on the losing end here, as even though he has more abilities than he ever did before, with X-ray vision of course, the super speed, and the other factor too is that the X-ray vision, all of that sadly is not enough to take down Frieza, as he was too powerful for this version of Goku. Now because of this, Goku was on the losing end, but he was still able to hold his own a lot better than he did in the original What If, but unfortunately, against the likes of Frieza, not enough. Goku here would then be grabbed around his neck by Frieza's tail, but Goku has an idea. As while Frieza was of course talking, as he always does, Goku would then use his freeze breath and actually freeze Frieza's tail, and he would shatter it, making Frieza scream in agony, he would kick Goku away as half of his tail was gone now. Now this infuriated Frieza as he would fire death beams at Goku, damaging him badly. Now Frieza has had enough of this. He's tired of this monkey sitting here, and he didn't even know that Saiyans had the ability to blow frost like that. He's never seen a Saiyan do that. Maybe it's some kind of ability that he learned or something. That doesn't make any sense to him. Now Vegeta, would he join in the fight? Obviously not, as he's not even close to as powerful as he was in the original. He would not have joined in. He would have just watched in a little bit of anger because he wished it was him that was fighting Frieza. But he knows that Frieza would just instantly kill him. So not much that he can really do. Goku would of course use some of his abilities to his advantage, such as his heat vision would help out battling against the likes of Frieza. But now Frieza's getting tired of this. Frieza would then charge up a massive supernova attack. Now Goku would get out from the rubble as he was pretty damaged. He knows that he could jump into the sun like he did before, but the problem is that that's not enough time, because by the time that he gets to the sun, charges up, and then gets back, Frieza could already have destroyed the planet. Running out of options, Goku would just have to take the attack head on, as Frieza himself would then throw the supernova attack as he was tired of the planet, and this might destroy the planet, but he knows he can survive anyway. Goku would then grab the attack, but it was too much for him as he was already tired, and he would be engulfed by the attack. But something strange happens. The attack starts to shrink and shrink and shrink as Goku's body absorbs the attack. But now Goku's in almost like a new form. He's different. His hair is standing up, but he has the power of the sun. It's like an aura around his body. Like the sun itself is fused with him. Goku here has now mixed his Super Saiyan cells with the Kryptonian. He has supercharged himself. And because of this, Frieza was easily overpowered by Goku. Any attacks that he did on Goku did nothing. Nothing injured Goku, and it was too fast for even Frieza to even keep up. And as well, even with any attacks bounced off of Goku, Goku would have easily defeated Frieza. He would have given him one chance to leave and never return. Of course, Frieza would never accept that. As he would then shoot a final attack, Goku would then charge up his heat vision and completely obliterate Frieza. Now that the death of Frieza has happened, most of the Frieza's men who were left over would just escape on the ships. As for Vegeta, he would stay because there's nowhere else for him to go, and Earth is a nice place. So he would kind of relax a little bit, and you could also argue that he would still get with Bulma the exact same way. Of course, he's still going to train and try and surpass Kakarot. Goku's form would then wear off as he thinks that he was just supercharged by the sun, or the supernova that Frieza threw at him. But now because of this, future Trunks would still reveal himself about a year later, and he would still explain to Goku about the androids, maybe a little more detail about the fact that Goku of course is part Kryptonian, and he knows that, but this green rock called Kryptonite actually injures Goku and even Gohan, who they're not full Saiyans. And he knows that it doesn't kill them, but it poisoned Goku, as Dr. Jerome made a custom virus for Goku, and because of this, he was so weakened that the androids were easily able to kill him, so sadly Goku died in the future timeline. Now because of this, Gohan would have still died, you can argue just the same way, as the androids would have just completely obliterated him the exact same way, and Trunks turned to a Super Saiyan at that point. Now Trunks would actually give Goku medicine that would actually destroy the kryptonite particles when it does attack him. And the fact of is that also the final thing that you need to do is go take a dip in the sun, as the sun will charge your cells to destroy any kryptonite remnants that are left after you've already been charged back up. So Goku understands this, as Piccolo overheard it as well. They would tell the Z Fighters about the androids will be appearing in 3 years, the exact same as before. Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan would continue to train. Now 3 years would pass. Most of the events would happen the same, with Goku meeting Dr. Gero and of course Android 19. Now I feel like Dr. Gero and Android 19 probably wouldn't have kryptonite, as there's only so much of it. And pretty much all of it went towards his main androids. Android of course 17 and Android 18. And Android 16 has an experimental piece of that as well on him, but we'll discuss that later. Goku would have probably still manhandled Android 19 the exact same, but he starts feeling the effects of the kryptonite virus that's starting to hit his body. So Yamcha would have had to carry him away, and this is when Vegeta would then reveal himself and showcase Super Saiyan the exact same as before.
Now, you could argue that the androids are a lot more powerful, which is true, but remember, they're not fighting pretty much a Kryptonian level character. They're fighting Vegeta, who's a full Saiyan. So Vegeta at this point, with training, I think he could catch up to where he originally was. He would probably be able to defeat Android 19, probably not as easy, but definitely would still been able to defeat him. Piccolo teaming up as well would overpower Dr. Gero, who would run off, and he would go activate Android 17 and 18. And of course, Android 17 and 18 would then kill Dr. Gero, and then get Android 16. Now, these androids, of course, look a little bit different. Now, why is that? They're relatively the same in terms of what their power is, but they are gifted a bit more. They have kryptonite. As Android 17, 18, they have kryptonite in their knuckles. So it's almost like little knuckle guards on their fist. And they can, of course, shoot kryptonite blast. Very similar to how Lex Luthor could do it with his war suit that he could use. Now, because of this, the androids also have a shield ability that they can use to absorb heat vision. So Goku's energy attacks does not harm them, and on top of that, their bodies are also laced with lead material. This also means that Goku, of course, cannot use X-ray vision. Now, cutting into Gohan, I feel like Gohan, even though he's only realistically 1/3 part of Kryptonian, he's part human, part Saiyan, part Kryptonian. He does still have some of the Kryptonian powers. Now, he doesn't really have the freeze breath or anything like that his father has. Gohan can get a little bit stronger from the sun as his father can. Not as much, but similar to his father. And Gohan does have heat vision, and he can fly and breathe in space. But he doesn't have the freeze breath or the X-ray vision or anything like that. He only has some of the abilities that his father had. So Gohan is very powerful. He has the same potential as before. So of course, when Vegeta goes to attack Android 17 and 18, they're a lot more powerful than the original. They would easily overpower them. They're still relatively the same nature, so they're not as evil as the future timeline ones. They would spare them, as their main mission is Goku. So they would then leave. But then because of this, the same exact events would pretty much happen. Not much else would really change. Of course, when you have, Vegeta Trunks are training. Cell, of course, came from the future timeline. And Cell is a very interesting character. You'll find out in a minute. As Cell is not a normal character. As we know, Cell is a hybrid mix of different beings and different species. Well, Cell here, I think, would have still came from the future timeline. And he needs to absorb Android 17 and 18, just like the original, so he can go into his complete form. Now, because of this, of course, the same events would happen the exact same. So we're going to skip over a lot of what happens, and we're going to get into the fun part to when the likes of Piccolo and Vegeta and the others fight Cell and the androids. Now, as for Piccolo, Piccolo is a bit more powerful than the original because he's training harder, and he also has a stronger sparring partner, aka Son Goku. Now, because of this, Piccolo would still fuse with Kami the exact same way, and he would still go and fight Android 17. Now, the two would actually be seemingly equal. As you guys know, the androids are stronger, but Piccolo is also stronger too, because he's been training harder. So Piccolo would be able to hold his own very well against Android 17, as other than Goku and Gohan, their Kryptonian gizmos doesn't really do anything against the likes of Piccolo and them, so it doesn't really matter. But of course, it would be a stalemate, as of course First Form Cell would then appear. Now, First Form Cell would then attack Piccolo, easily defeating as Piccolo was tired. He would trick Android 17 into kind of attacking him. He would then use the Solar Flare, and he would then absorb Android 17. But because of this, Cell would then go into his second form. But Cell looks a little bit different here. As Cell went to his second form, it's a bit more grayish green, and he has spikes protruding out of his body, as his eyes are more red than before. You guys got it right. Cell is a mixture of all the other beings and a mixture of Kryptonian DNA. So I want you guys to imagine Cell mixed with the likes of Doomsday. That is what Cell is. Cell is Goku's Doomsday, the ultimate creature to kill a Kryptonian. Because of this, Cell does look really cool. He has spikes protruding from his body, from his knuckles, just like how Doomsday does. but you can tell that it's still Cell. It's just a lot of difference. Now, because of this, of course, once Vegeta and Trunks finished their training, Android 18 and 16 were in hiding. Vegeta would then showcase his Super Vegeta form. Even though Vegeta is stated to be a little bit stronger, against this version of Cell, Vegeta would not have it as easy. Now, because of this though, Cell is also not as intelligent as he originally is. Let me explain why. Since I'm incorporating Doomsday mixing with Cell, is the fact that Cell is not as giftedly smart as he is. So each time that he transforms, he loses some of his kind of mental structure. So he acts more like Doomsday each time he transforms. Now he's in the middle ground. So Cell is less of small talk. He still does say some quips and stuff like that, but Cell is very similar to the likes of Dragon Ball Z Broly. He loves to fight and he wants to kill Goku. Pretty much the simple term is that. Vegeta would have a very difficult time against this version of Cell. His final flash would do damage, but the issue is that Cell was getting more powerful. Every time a heart attack hits him, he's only growing stronger. It's very similar to the Doomsday that we saw in the Batman v Superman movie, to where any attack done to him or damage dealt, Cell only comes back stronger and he evolves the more he attacks him. But now because of this, Cell here would start to overpower Vegeta. Now, would Vegeta get cocky enough? I don't think so. But we're going to argue that Cell would still be able to find Android 18 and would absorb her. Now, because of this, he will be in his perfect form, but he looks a bit different. He looks a little bit more like Cell Max, being bigger in size, about 12 feet tall, with way more spikes and way more deadly looking. Like Cell looks like a mixture between Cell and Doomsday. You can't really differentiate much of them together. But now because of this though, sadly, Cell here has lost a lot of his mental thing. But because of this, he still wants to fight Goku. So he would still give them a few days to get stronger. As he's very childish, he's kind of like Super Boo in terms of intelligence, as he would just stomp around and destroy cities and do whatever he wants because he wants a real fight still. Now, a lot of the events would happen the same with Goku healing up from the Kryptonite virus. As Goku, after he regains enough strength to fly, he would fly straight towards the sun and take a sun dip. Because of this, Goku would then be charged back up to full strength, as it would exterminate any atoms of kryptonite in his body, as he felt much better. Now he knows about Cell and he knows how dangerous he is, but they don't have time to mess around. Now there is two options that they can do. If you guys remember, Goku realistically, he only went into the hyperbolic time chamber, of course, to grow stronger, but to also master Super Saiyan. Well, he doesn't necessarily have Super Saiyan. And you could argue that that supercharged form that he had was a version of Super Saiyan. It was a Kryptonian Super Saiyan, but he doesn't know how to access that. So because of that, he will go into the hyperbolic time chamber, just to kind of give you guys a reason why he would even want to go in there. So they have only a few days, as Goku and Gohan would then go in together, as father and son would then begin their training. Now Gohan here, I feel like with Goku's help, he probably could unlock Super Saiyan, as remember, Pan is only realistically 1/3 of a Super Saiyan, 1/3 of a Saiyan, but she can theoretically access it from what we know. But I'm gonna just say that it is possible. If you have enough Saiyan in you, you can access it. Gohan's potential, he definitely can. Gohan would have normal Super Saiyan. Now Goku here, when he turns Super Saiyan, it is a little bit different. Now, as you guys know, his hair would just stand up more, and his eyes would be a different color. His eyes would then just be a reddish color, aka because he's overcharged. And that's his heat vision being overcharged, is the glowing red eyes. So this greatly increases his power, making him a lot more stronger than the original, as this overloads all of his abilities. But now once when they step out, you could argue that Vegeta and Trunks would then go in there, but they have no time, as Goku would then fly off to go fight Cell. Once when Goku lands, the two would begin their fight. As of course, it was very similar to Goku, and of course fighting Cell in the original, as Cell is just as fast as he originally was. You could argue a bit harder because he's more bulkier. The fight would be very similar to when Superman fought Doomsday. Both were seemingly equal in power, but Goku was still being injured because Doomsday was the perfect counter to Superman, and Cell is the perfect counter to Goku. So the two would be giving it their all, fighting. As Gohan, even though he's very powerful, sadly he wouldn't be able to keep up with his version of Cell. His father and Cell have far surpassed them. They just sadly have to watch. Now, Goku was badly injured and bleeding on the ground, as Cell was only growing more and more powerful. But what are they going to do? I mean, every time that Goku attacks this thing, it only grows stronger. But then Bulma would appear, and she has an idea. She remembers that kryptonite can kill it. Kryptonite is basically the only thing that can damage it enough to kill it. Well, Bulma, after searching at Dr. Gero's lab, she did find a piece of kryptonite left over that Dr. Gero has never used yet. Now this is perfect because Bulma formed a weapon out of it, basically like a sharp rock of the kryptonite, as that was perfect. As she would toss it to Goku, Goku was already getting weaker because of it. He would fly in full speed and stab it right through Cell's chest. But then sadly, Cell had the spike worm from his hand. He would stab Goku as well. As very similar to the movie, Goku would force it to go deeper in his body as he would shove it all the way through, and Cell would be completely killed. As he would fall over, Goku was dropped. As he was not healing, Goku would pass away sadly, giving his life to protect the Earth against that monster, Cell. Now, of course, Goku here would finally be in the afterlife for the first time. Because of his heroic actions, of course, he was given his body and he's able to keep it. But now because of this, of course, Yama would state that there is a teacher that could help Goku control his power even better. And Goku can go check it out. It was known as King Kai. So Goku would then begin flying down to Snake Way to go check it out. But Goku would still be countered by Gohan and the Dragon Balls. And he would explain that he doesn't want to be brought back to life, as every time he does, and he's around, there's always been these bad guys coming after him. Maybe the Earth is better now if he's not there, as he knows that with Vegeta, Piccolo, and his son Gohan's rising power, they can take care of the planet while he's gone.
Son Goku, after a very short time, finally made it to King Kai's planet. Now he was instantly pulled down because of the 10 times gravity, as he wasn't used to it instantly. But now, after a short amount of time, he would then meet King Kai, after messing around with Bubbles a little bit, and say a joke to make King Kai laugh. Now King Kai has actually heard about Goku and even felt his power before, as he knows that Goku's the one that defeated Lord Frieza, and defeated that monstrosity that they had on that planet Earth, aka Cell. So of course he would train Goku, as maybe he can help him out in some way. Now Goku would very quickly get used to the 10 times gravity because of his Kryptonian body, and also his Saiyan body as well, as he just wasn't used to it ever before. Now, of course, Goku, for the remainder, as he was dead for 7 years, he would still go in the Otherworld tournament and fight Pikkon, and that would go the exact same. Goku would travel around a lot more, because he's definitely more curious, and he would learn the fusion dance from the Metamorians, and I feel like he would still maybe meet Yardrats and passed away ones, so he would still learn instant transmission, and etc. from them, but his main focus would be training with King Kai the most. But now because of this, Goku would learn Kaioken from King Kai, and he would also learn the Spirit Bomb. And King Kai would also tell Goku a lot more history about his people, the Saiyans and the Kryptonians, which Goku was very interested to hear about. But now because of this, Goku wants more of a challenge in the Otherworld for the 7 years, as Goku would even go to Hell, as he can return, and he would especially go fight other beings. Now he was worried that maybe that Cell guy was down there, but he doesn't really see him around. Maybe it's for the best. As King Yama had a special place for that monstrosity, they put him in a specialized icy tomb, as he's locked away forever. But now because of this, Goku would go fight everybody around the Otherworld and have a blast. Now 7 years would pass, and he would still be offered to spend one day with his family from Baba. Now Gohan at this point, he still has not kept up his training, as it's pretty much the same Gohan from the original. Now Vegeta kept on training hard, so he still has the same animosity towards Goku, as he still wants to fight him. And this is his one chance to do so. Goku would then return, and his friends were so thrilled to see Goku again after so many years, especially Chi-Chi. And this is also when Goku would meet his other son, Goten. Now guess Goten basically is the same potential as Gohan. So Goten here is actually a little bit stronger, especially when the next tournament rolls around, that you'll see that Goten is actually a little bit stronger than Trunks. Most of the events would happen the exact same with the child tournament. Of course, I feel like Goten would actually win this one, as he does have heat vision and he can fly a lot better than Trunks can. He doesn't need ki to do so. And he gets stronger from the sun. So Goten, I feel like, would actually win. And yes, Goten can turn into a Super Saiyan the same way. As if you guys remember, pretty much the hybrids, they can turn into Super Saiyan. Goku can become a Super Saiyan. But Goku can push that Super Saiyan power even more if he absorbs a lot of the sun, which is his Kryptonian side. He basically gets supercharged. And that's when he gets a special form mixed in with a Super Saiyan. Imagine basically overloading a Super Saiyan form. Like, you remember how Goku absorbed the Spirit Bomb in the Android 13 movie? Something similar to that in a way, but not to where he almost died doing it. It's more controlled. Now, of course, Vegeta would be tasked to go fight with Goku, but then, of course, the Supreme Kai would still appear. Now, Gohan at this point would still become the Great Saiyan Man. And yes, definitely a bit more heroic because of the Kryptonian in him. But yeah, he would definitely become the Great Saiyan Man. He would still meet Videl. She knows about the Golden Warrior. She would figure out that it's Gohan. She would still fight Spopovich and lose, being beaten nearly to death, which would cause Gohan to get upset. Gohan would go to fight Kibito, and this is, of course, when Gohan would then showcase Super Saiyan. No Super Saiyan 2. But even in Super Saiyan, Gohan is a little bit stronger than he was in... Gohan is definitely stronger than he was in the original because of his Kryptonian DNA. The sun automatically boosts him way higher, which shocked Kibito and Supreme Kai at his power. Gohan would still be paralyzed because of Supreme Kai, as his energy was being stolen, and they would still give it to Fat Buu. Now, because of this, Goku and his other friends would follow Supreme Kai, and Supreme Kai would tell him about Majin Buu, and the same events would pretty much happen, where they would go into Babidi's ship, and of course fight Pui Pui and fight Yakan. All that happens the exact same, as Goku would actually surprise Vegeta with his power, but other than that, the same exact events would go down. And of course, this is when Vegeta would still be taken over by Babidi, becoming Majin Vegeta. As that wouldn't necessarily change, as if you guys remember, Goku defeated Cell and also kind of surpassed Vegeta, and Vegeta was never able to keep up with Goku, nor is he able to finally prove who's the strongest. So for 7 years, he thought that he could never fight him again and live in that shadow. But now that he's here, he can finally have his dream match and not care about anything or anybody else. So it would be very interesting. But because of this, Vegeta here would still become Majin Vegeta. He would still threaten everybody, injure some people, and tell Goku to fight him. Goku, of course, would agree, which is exactly what Babidi wants. He wants the energy. The two would go to the desert wasteland and they would begin their fight. Now, because of this, comparing the two together, Vegeta and Super Saiyan would fight Goku first, and even in base form, Vegeta's gonna have a rough time, as Vegeta is not able to touch Goku at all. Now, once Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 2, he would then continue his fight, and this is when he would fare a little bit better against Goku. But of course, even with base Goku, Vegeta cannot defeat him. Even with his new Majin power-up, no matter what he tried, it didn't work. So he would try one more thing, and that is the Final Flash, which is an ultimate technique. He would charge it up, and Goku was actually surprised at how much energy he can build up with that attack. It's extraordinary. And he would hit Goku full force with the attack. But Son Goku would be unscathed, which would shock Vegeta at how is this possible. And Goku would kind of scold Vegeta and say that, listen, you can never defeat what I am. You don't know what kind of training I had to do in the other world. Figure out my past, figure out my true inner power that I have. And now because of this, Vegeta was furious. He was still trying to attack Goku, but Goku wants to end this. So because of this, Goku would start to use his Kryptonian powers. As Goku here would use Freeze Breath to freeze Vegeta's inner torso, and he would kick him into the wall. But Vegeta still would not stop, as he would break free, not caring. Goku would have no choice. Goku would use his X-ray vision and see a weak spot, and he would hit Vegeta right on the side, and it would knock Vegeta out cold. Now that because of this, Goku knows that he has to leave quickly, as of course, Fat Buu was still born. Now because of this, and how is this possible, is because the energy that they stole from Gohan was way stronger than the original, which would have filled it up even more, as Super Saiyan 2 Gohan filled up Buu to half tank. So if this is a Kryptonian Gohan going Super Saiyan, I feel like he's way more powerful. He would definitely fill it up still the same way. Plus with a fight with Vegeta, dishing out any damage or taking the damage would definitely be enough. Now, what about Gohan versus Dabura? We never touched up on that. Now, Gohan and Dabura would be very interesting, as Gohan here would actually be able to kill Dabura in their fight. As being in Super Saiyan, Gohan will probably get overwhelmed at first, as it's been so long since he's actually had a real fight like that. But once when Gohan is knocked away, he would be up in the upper atmosphere, and he would absorb more of the sun's power, growing stronger as it would heal his wounds, and he would fly back down and attack Dabura, being charged up and supercharged, and he would defeat Dabura. Now Fat Buu would still be born, but Gohan here was already tired after fighting Dabura, but he would still do his best, as he would actually be able to fare pretty well against Fat Buu and hold him off for a decent amount of time. But sadly, Fat Buu would still overwhelm him with his power, as Gohan was too weak, and it seemed like Gohan passed away. But as we know, the Kai saved Gohan's life and brought him to their other world, and brought him to the Kai realm. So as for Goku, he would then fly and meet up with Fat Buu and Babidi to fight them. Now, of course, Babidi wanted to fight him anyway, as he seemed like he was the most powerful candidate for Buu to have fun with. So Goku here, would he still have the mindset of letting the boys take over, you know, for them to have fun? Yes, you could argue that, but at the same time, I feel like Goku, I guess, is a bit more mature. Let's just say that. Because of his Kryptonian side, he is a little bit more mature than he normally is. He's not like the goofy Saiyan that we know, and he's not like, oh, let's just do this and that. But no, he's not stupid. He's half Kryptonian too. So he has a bit more intelligence than normal. Mainly maturity. He knows right from wrong, and that decision, which he probably thought about, would end result in potentially more danger to the planet, which he doesn't want. So he would take care of Fat Buu himself, if he can. So the fight would begin, and base Goku would actually fare really well against Fat Buu. But Fat Buu was very powerful, so Goku would use his full strength in his base form, and the two would seemingly be equal. But as Goku notices, Fat Buu is healing every attack, as his structure is very strange. He can tank all these attacks, and he can heal instantly, and he has magical abilities, which Goku is weak against. As you guys remember, magic-based attacks are weak against the likes of Kryptonians, aka Superman. So it actually fares a bit of a problem against Goku, not as bad because he's half Kryptonian, not full, a bit more of a problem. Now Goku here would then go Super Saiyan, and then this is where the tides very quickly turn. Having a massive buff, Goku would then overwhelm Fat Buu, and he knows that there's good within Fat Buu, so he actually would spare him, but tell him about Babidi and how he's kind of manipulating him, which would actually make Fat Buu turn on Babidi and kill him. So because of that, Goku would tell Fat Buu, saying, hey, look, how about we have a couple of days, all right? Don't destroy nobody, don't attack nobody, and I guarantee you that I can give you a fight that you'll never forget. Now, we did discuss earlier on how Goku would kind of throw away this decision, but I feel like as he fights Fat Buu, he knows how easily he can defeat him, but he also can sense that there is good within him. So he wants Goten and Trunks to be able to get strong enough to where they can take care of the planet if something is were to happen. Now, of course, Goku's main choice when he didn't know Fat Buu, he didn't know how he fought, he didn't know how he sensed him or anything. He thought that Fat Buu was just evil, and that Bobby's just, telling him what to do, so he's just going to destroy him to save everybody the trouble. But after fighting Buu and seeing and sensing him, he knows that Buu is not completely evil. He knows that Buu can be good, and he knows that Buu's very childish. He's easily manipulative. So if he tells Buu to just don't destroy nothing or hurt nobody, give me at least a day or so, a few days, and I guarantee that we can give you an amazing fighter. Majin Buu would agree to that as before and go live on his own thing, goof off for a little while, and as you know, this is when Hercule would meet Buu and they'll become best friends. Goku would meet up with Goten and Trunks, and he would help train them alongside with Piccolo and teach them the fusion dance. Now, because of this, Fat Boo, remember the little dog B, would still be shot by the guy. Same with Hercule. Now, because of this, Boo would still snap and heal them, but this is when Evil Boo was born, or Dark Boo, Evil Boo. He would still absorb Fat Boo and become Super Boo, but Super Boo knows that he still wants to fight, so he would arrive on Kami's lookout, and as this before, Goku would actually be able to meet them there, remember, Goku never turned into a Super Saiyan 3. He never turned into a Super Saiyan 3 the multiple times that he did, so he has plenty more time to stay on Earth, as he didn't drain through his time, as he was just in base form, and he only turned Super Saiyan once, or mainly twice. So because of this, Goku would wait alongside with Super Boo. And while Goten and Trunks were actually training and figuring out the fusion, Goku would actually fight Super Boo to try and defeat him. And now once, as he's fighting, as Goten and Trunks are just about to come out, Goku began his fight with Super Boo. As in base form, Goku's using his full strength, Super Boo is too strong for him, so Goku turns into the Super Saiyan, and then this is where the tides turn a little bit, as Goku's using every arsenal that he has. And he would actually keep up with Super Boo and definitely start to overwhelm him. As the fight is going on, Goku is growing stronger because he's absorbed more of the sun's rays. As they're going higher and higher into space, as Boo's wondering why he's going higher and higher, but he doesn't get it. But Goku is doing it because he's absorbing more and more of the sun's power the closer that he gets. So Boo, I believe, can obviously breathe in space, so they would almost be in the upper atmosphere, almost out in outer space, as Goku is only getting stronger as the fight continues, as Goku does not have a limit. His power continues to grow and grow and grow. Now, he would start to overpower Super Boo pretty easily, as he would bring the fight back down towards Earth, as this is when Goten and Trunks would appear, and they would showcase the fusion dance. And I feel like the same as before, they would still know how to go Super Saiyan 2. I don't believe they would know about Super Saiyan 3, and here's why: because they never seen it before. They never seen Super Saiyan 3, they never knew that it was even a thing, so they wouldn't know. But Super Saiyan 2 is definitely possible, as Trunks probably seen his father Vegeta go into it, so it is very possible. Now, of course, Gotenks would then go fight Super Boo, but he would definitely fare a little bit better. As let me tell you why, because now the fusion's a little bit Kryptonian as well, as it would be a little bit more buff because of the sun boost. But sadly against Super Boo, it probably wouldn't fare too well, so Goku would have to handle it. Goku would overpower Super Boo at this point, and he knows that he has to finish Super Boo because he's a threat to the whole universe. Goku would then charge up a full power Kamehameha, as Piccolo would even join in, and Piccolo would use a key lock, aka he would wrap his arm around Super Boo to hold him down. As our Piccolo can regrow his arm back anyway. And this is when Goten would also throw out his Super Donut Ring around Super Boo to contain him as well. And then Piccolo, Gotenks, and Goku would fire their full power attacks. It would hit Super Boo full force, and it would completely obliterate Super Boo. This also means that there is no Fat Boo, there's no Oob, and obviously the other beings are gone too. So sadly, there will be no Oob later down this What If. But Goku was relieved that it was finally all over with, and he was actually impressed by the fusion's power. As at that point, the fusion would then continue for a little bit, and then it would defuse, and they kind of wish they could have fought more, but they understand that they couldn't really do much against them. But Goku was actually very impressed by how powerful they are. If they work together, they can defeat any threat. So soon it was Goku's time was up. Now what about Vegeta? Now Vegeta at this point would have waken up from the attack, and he would have went to Kami's lookout. And I feel like since Babidi was gone to remove the big M from his forehead, since Babidi was gone, the M would disappear as his magic is gone. So Vegeta lost his power. But Vegeta understands, and he learns about the Super Boo and everything else. He understands in his own mind that Kakarot's #1 and he's the best. I mean, he never keep up with his power. He understands that, and to move on, he understands that he's the best. So they would have their little moment, and Goku would say goodbye to his family, and he says that I'll go check on Gohan in the other world if he's there. Now Goku go to the other world and talk to King Yemma. King Yemma does not find Gohan in his records, but Goku would then go to the Supreme Kai's world, and he would figure out that Gohan was actually alive. He survived the whole time, but he was being trained with the Z Sword. So the same event would happen to where they would still break the Z Sword over the strongest metal in the universe, and Elder Kai was still born. Now because of this, since Elder Kai was brought back, they would still have a goofy scene about, oh, can I have a beautiful woman to kiss or anything like that? No. So because of this, he would look at Gohan and say that I can unlock your true potential. Now what about you, Goku? Do you want the same thing? I feel like Goku would say no, because remember, he doesn't want to be given power. That's just not his cup of tea. He doesn't want to be given power. He says maybe another time, as he wants to kind of train his own power. He definitely wants to go down the route of the Super Saiyan power and see how far he can push it. But Gohan would definitely take it. So Gohan would become Mystic Gohan, and this version of Gohan, as we know in the original, was able to overpower Super Buu, but he was weaker than Buu Tanks. This version of Gohan with his Kryptonian DNA being much stronger and a higher potential, with potential unleashed, is definitely in the power, definitely of Vegito. Of Vegito when he was in Super Saiyan in the Buu Saga, comfortably. That is how powerful Gohan is. He's definitely in the Vegito and Buuhan levels for sure. And he's definitely the most powerful being, other than, of course, Goku, of course. But yeah, Gohan would then be sent back to Earth, as he'll be Earth's new protector. He knows to take it seriously. And the events would pretty much play out the exact same. Goku would stay in the other world, train with King Kai, have fun. As we know, a few years would pass, and then a certain cat would then begin to wake up, as it was Lord Beerus himself, as he wants to find a Super Saiyan God. And that is it for this one. If you guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get this video 250 likes, and let's get to 20,000 subscribers, and I'll talk to you all later.